Show. I'm your host, Jerm. I'm back with the fellas, my main man, Razor Rat
in the room.
and L Dog in the building.
Yo,
Sound got him.
what's happening?
We back, man. The saga continues with Karmelo Anthony, man. As y'all know, the 19-year-old was recently convicted of the murder of Austin Metcalf, 17. And Karmelo Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison. So, as we talked about last time on the show, there was a lot to the story, right? And now we're starting to get more and more information that's pointing to there being more to the story, as we suspect. So, Karmelo Anthony now has a new defense team that just jumped on board and is looking to appeal his conviction. So some of the things that they have pointed out we're going to talk about, but, you know, it's been a lot of tempers flaring lately. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on social media. There's a lot of, you know, narratives being passed around on television, on media sites, things of that nature. So it's really heated, right? And some people want to deny the fact that it's a race thing, because at the end of the day, y'all, we could say it ain't all day long, but it really is. So, you know, me and the fellas, we're going to chop it up and we're going to talk about some of these things. You know, so one thing I do want to say is, you know, one of the issues about the appeal is the jury. I know there was some people that felt the kind of way in the comments last time we talked about this, and they were saying, oh, it ain't an all-white jury and all that. Yeah, but there's no black people on the jury. Mm-hmm. So you can hold that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there wasn't nobody on the jury that looked like Karmelo Anthony. And there lies the problem. So we're going to get into that, right? So right off the bat, we kind of felt like there was a problem with the case right from the jump when they struck 3 black potential jurors. What y'all think about that? We could just get into that part right there.
Mm-hmm. First and foremost, shout out to everybody who was in the comments going crazy on YouTube, on the page, and all that. But I do want to say there was some biased opinions on there. There was some level-headed opinions as well, but there was some biased opinions. But some fact of the matter is, it is unfortunate that there was no black people on that jury. You know, I'd like to have seen at least 1 or 2, if not 3, like they tried to get originally. You know what I mean? It appears that it wasn't very many people from his school who was on the witness stand, maybe 2 kids or something like that. And they got kind of cornered in the recanting their conversation, what they said on the stand, all those type things. So I think that's an unfortunate thing for him, and I think he should get the opportunity to give representation, you know?
And to add to that, like, there was also a key part to that is that Karmelo Anthony's attorney actually objected to that. So really, like, when it comes down to appeal, your lawyer has to appeal. I mean, not appeal, but object to things that may have legal issues, right? Like not having, like, striking the 3 black jurors, and he like, yo, you need a black juror on there. So he objected to it, which then later on you can have grounds of getting back to appellate court based off of that, right? So that was one good thing that lawyer did, was, you know, objected to that. And that's something that the new legal team for Karmelo Anthony is now, they're putting that, you know, as part of their appeal. So I'm gonna tell you, like, people that don't understand or refuse to understand the fact that it's important for people that look like us to be in the jury is because a lot of times in the legal system, we have different cultural lingo. Like we'll say things, we talk different, we move different, we have a whole different way from black to white, right? And sometimes white, um, you know, going into a courtroom and you have a white judge, a white prosecutor, a white attorney. You got a lot of people that don't understand your culture. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And even in the Karmelo case, there was things that were said in the case that Karmelo had said, mm-hmm. right? Like I'm not quoting him, but he said something like, you know, if you touch me, watch what happened, or something like that. I can't remember. Like,
so see,
don't put your hands on me, or else, you know what, something to that nature.
Bad or something said, if you touch me,
yeah,
you're gonna see what happened.
Yeah, something to that nature, right? And it was taken as a threat mm-hmm. when we understand what was being said. Yeah. You know, that is like, hey, like a cop saying freeze, don't move or else. Mm-hmm. You move one more time. You see what I'm saying? There could be consequences behind that stuff. So we understand that. And, you know, I've been in situations where I've been in the courtrooms with over my son's case, you know what I'm saying, where my son was murdered. And before he got fatally shot, he told the shooter, stop playing with me. And they used that as a technicality to say they were playing when he wasn't playing. And our culture, stop playing with me means, man, you better leave me alone, right, or it's going to be a problem. Right. That is a way for us to try to give you a warning, like, hey, look, you're going too far. Like, this, if you take another step towards me, then I'm gonna have to defend myself, right? That's so these type of things that we say when there's non-black jurors, it could be twisted and said, oh, he meant he was being aggressive, when actually he's just saying, I'm gonna be forced to defend myself if you step to me. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen when they use a whole lot of technicalities in those kids' words and like making them recant certain words,
yeah,
certain things. When they say he was surrounded and he had a mob around him, everybody was saying, "Get out of here," and
yeah,
you know, threatening him, whatever the case may be. Like it appeared like he was surrounded, but in the law's definition, he wasn't surrounded. You know, because it was an open tent, he could have done whatever. But in that same definition, he's allowed to be under the tent. You know what I mean? It was raining. It appeared like there was nowhere else for him to go. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's another. But to add to that, that's another thing. They released the video, right? They kind of, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but we could kind of see where Austin Metcalf's, him and his boys, walked up into the tent. Mm-hmm. Like, and then you see, there was more than one person. There was more than two people. I want to say it's 4 or 5, maybe 6 people mm-hmm. that pulled up on Karmelo Anthony. And like, that's again, cultural differences. Mm-hmm. In our culture, you walk up with 6 people. I don't care if the other 4 or other 5 people are with you. Mm-hmm. I don't know what their intentions are. If you aggressive.
And they telling him to move, they're trying to get him out of there. They said he pushed him like an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
They hit him 2 arms, push down. Like I'm trying to get you up out of here.
Yeah. I'm trying to get you on the ground so we can do damage to you.
They say technically he had to get grabbed, slammed to the ground, choked, and punched repeatedly before he can use the force he used.
Nah, that ain't. See, that's realistic. That's not realistic.
I mean, so they used all of these technicalities to diminish what really happened. Where in reality, we all know self-defense means I'm defending myself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna make sure that I get out of this situation. So if I got a gun on me and you trying to harm me, I'm gonna get out the situation. Everybody who carry guns on their hip, I want to know what you would do if somebody is coming at you trying to harm your body.
Yeah.
You're going to defend yourself. Yeah. So this might have been a situation where he shouldn't have had the knife, but he did have the knife. He was telling dude, leave me alone. Dude didn't leave him alone. So that's like a case of mess around and find out. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, but if somebody say, leave me alone, and you don't leave them alone, there might be a consequence to it. I hate that this was the consequence, but the simple fact of the matter is don't mess with people. You know what I mean?
Right. And like, of course it's unfortunate. Don't nobody want to see nobody killed or nothing like that. Like that, obviously. But the point of it is that we have to look at this situation from a what would you do in that situation standpoint. Like and then you're gonna get people out there that ain't never gotten a fight in their life. Talk about I'm gonna just go get somebody, I'm gonna tell the police, I'm gonna do that. But you don't understand, like they don't understand because they haven't been in a situation like that where and they be the same people that be quick to see a video of a cop shooting an unarmed black person saying, well, he had a split second to think about.
Right.
Well, the same thing for Karmelo. He had a second to sit there and say, all right, this dude could easily swing, hit me. He's 200 plus pounds. He's 6'1", and his brother the same size.
Right.
And then he got 4 other dudes with him.
And dude is 125, 130 pounds.
I think they said like 160, but still, you looking at the odds. Okay, I ain't gonna be able to win this one, right? Or whatever. And you throw out your hey man, look, don't touch me. Mm-hmm. And once they do that stuff, fight or flight kick in. Mm-hmm. Now you on survival mode because somebody them. Not only are you thinking in your brain like, well, we have been in situations like where we get jumped, and you be thinking about what can I find to crack somebody's head or whatever else, and if you got something on you, it's gone.
And that's how they diminished his self-defense plea. He was saying basically you shouldn't have felt like that. This was not a way for you to feel like you should have used deadly force. In no way in this situation should you have used deadly force. But they were also saying that dude was 80 pounds more than him. You know what I mean? So like, if you that much taller than me and that much heavier than me, and it's 2 of you, and then
it's multiply that
specifically, and then there's 6 people with you or 4 people with you, a total of 6 people. I'm laying down and y'all all telling me to get out of this tent or else. It's like, or else what? Like, I ain't leaving out the tent.
Right.
Then you grab me, you put your hands on me. I'm kind of glad I did have a knife on me at that point. Because what would you have done to me if I would not have been able to defend myself? You put your hands on me. The only thing that I ask of you is to keep to yourself. The minute you put your hands on me, now I can defend myself. And I always say that to my kids, to my friends, to my family, whatever. Like, if they put your hands on you, make sure you make it home. Ain't no reason for you to allow him to just pulverize you and you sit there and take all of the bloodshed when you ain't got to.
It's almost so ridiculous to hear people that are legal gun carriers talk that will smoke a joker that's 50 pounds smaller than them and a kid. We done seen it with Zimmerman.
Out of fear.
I talk about I'm fearful of my life and get that stuff off, but then turn around and say I'm supposed to face 5, 6 people and fight to the death, right? Like, no, that ain't realistic. But it's just the flip gang where it's only black people got to go out that way because ain't nobody out there, if you think it logically, gonna agree that if there was 6 black men, young men that walked up on one white kid, and them black kids was known to be bullies, and they had 50, 60 pounds apiece more than that white kid, and that white kid pulled out a knife that was legal, and then defended himself, would y'all be still in the comments talking about, nah, he wrong.
Right.
I doubt it.
Right.
I doubt it. We know it, and that's the reason why this is being this is going the way that it's going. As far as people are really having a lot of feelings involved in this stuff because we understand as black people the history of this country and what we have been through, and a lot of us have witnessed this stuff, in our own lifetime. Like we seen where the justice system don't work for us.
Right.
We seen where people that we know or ourselves have been railroaded in the judicial system. I myself saw my son lose if my son got murdered, we lost the murder case due to, I believe, race stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like there was so much stuff that went down as if my son just wasn't worthy of justice. You know what I'm saying? So I see those same things with the Trayvon Martin case. You know what I'm saying? I see that with Tamir Rice. Like we see it with so many different cases in America throughout American history that it's natural for us to be like, yo, this ain't right. How you striking 3 black jurors? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is these type of things happening in 2026 still? And then we have seen numerous people, you know, black people taken out, you know, and then we see other non-black people try to justify why that person, well, you should have complied with the police. The police should, like all these excuses and reasons. But then when it come down to us and we saying, hey, yo, this ain't right. Now it's the excuses of, you know, why we should feel that way. Right. What you think, yeah?
I'm gonna say this first and foremost. I said it the first time. They screwed my man.
Yeah.
Oh, got the short end of the stick.
That was woo.
They screwed.
Man.
But I wanted to go back on something what you said. You said the knife was legal.
Yes.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, the knife was a legal length, right? It wasn't illegal for him to carry. There was a difference because it wasn't permitted on school property, which doesn't make it illegal. So people, you got to do your homework. It does not make it illegal. It's just not permitted on private property, which is the school property. It's the same like if I walk up at a track meet with a Budweiser in my hand, they're going to say, hey, alcohol ain't permitted on property. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That doesn't mean I'm going to jail. What happens is if somebody walks up to me and say, yo, excuse me, sir, you got to leave the premises with that alcohol beverage. Mm-hmm. And then I say, nah, I ain't going nowhere. And I crack it open and start drinking. Now that's a different issue. But me just having a bottle of Budweiser doesn't make it illegal. It just makes it ain't permitted on the property. So in other words, all right, in my school or in my barbershop, firearms are legal in the state of Ohio, but you can't come in my barbershop or my school with a firearm. Does that make it illegal because they got a gun on them? No, you just can't. It's not permitted on my private property. So you have to go. So that's the case. That's what happened.
I just wanted to make sure we clarified that because I also saw a lot of people talking about legal and knife and all of that. I wanted to make sure that we let it be known that we understand the difference between legality and permission.
And also, a lot of these people are parents as well. And if your child had to walk home, you'll probably give them some type of protection as well. Whether it be a knife, a mace, a boomstick, a loud bear call or something, there's going to be some type of comfort given to your child so they can make it home in their mind safe. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was the case with him. You know what I mean? He might be walking home and might have needed, some type of protection. Yes, that's the way I looked at it.
Yeah, and he wasn't charged with, you know what I mean? Like, if it was an illegal weapon, then they had that in the spec. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I believe also it was a Swiss Army knife.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
same stuff they get at the Boy Scout. Yeah. And cut it out. Like, but yeah, so that's the difference between.
Right. The second thing I wanted to say is we sat and watched the situation with George Floyd, and I hate to keep going back in history, even though that was 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, when the young man who was not from where George Floyd was, he crossed state lines.
Two
state lines with an AR, got out there and shot some people.
Shot some protesters.
He shot protesters, peaceful protesters, and got away with it. And I didn't hear the uproar about that. And that's why stuff like that lets me know that this is really a racial situation. This isn't about these young kids and this was a misfortunate event and I'm sorry that it happened this way. Because let the shoe have been on the other foot and that young man would have been, like you said, if he was a young white kid And
Man, what?
if people walked up on him like that, they'd be sitting over here
known bully.
known bullies, and they already have a history of it. Like another thing is that we haven't even discussed yet. Right after we dropped the episode, the last one, his dad went online and he got to talking crazy as hell.
Crazy. And I tried to give him some grace last time.
Yeah.
So
for the people, who's dad you talking about?
The Metcalf, Austin Metcalf.
Okay.
As a father that been there and lost a kid, I kind of was like, dang, you know, like I was trying to empathize with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, I ain't saying he had to be completely like, you know, I'm sure there's emotion there. Put it that way, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm quite sure that everything wasn't all, you know, roses and stuff. But so he probably had his ups and downs. But the way that he was speaking wasn't, I'm just a hurt father.
Mm-hmm.
It was more like, erase that. Like,
Them niggas.
yeah.
What a lot of people fail to talk about, and I hate to bring this up, is his son was ultimately guilty of like battery and assault.
There you go.
Like, so
Intimidation,
yeah.
harassment.
Why are
assault.
you standing behind this? It would be like, we need to figure out how this don't happen to my other son, because I don't want my other son to think that it's okay to do what my son did in front of him. So let's discuss this and make this a learning situation for my son who's still here, that I can make sure he don't do the same thing, because the actions were wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No matter if you looked at it like you were being a hero for your school, or if you were going to be the one to secure or be security for the tent or whatever, it wasn't your place. Go get an adult. You know what I mean? Go get somebody who's an authoritative figure. You're not it. You're just a peer to him. You are the same, on the same equal playing field. So
You
there's
have no
reason
authority
for you to put hands on somebody who is the same age as you. Like,
Right.
it doesn't make sense. Just because you're bigger, stronger, tougher, you're
Want
known
to
as
bully
something
him.
like that, it don't make no sense to me. So it's almost like, why don't we make this a situation where he can learn from it? Because you shouldn't have put your hands on that man. Like, don't put your hands on nobody. Keep your hands to yourself, because that's what all of us have as a right. Being in America, being in all of these states, I don't care what state you in, it's a self-defense situation that might be shaky, whatever case it be in certain states, but it is self-defense in every state. It's all these different cases in every state. I don't think that we should always diminish the thing that started everything, because what started this was somebody feeling like they can be a hero and say, hey, you need to get away from here. It's like,
That's a great point.
we all are on this earth together. If you're sitting right there and I don't own that spot, I can't grab you and move you away from that spot.
And that's the problem, because they think some people in this country think they got authority over other people, and they don't. You were just a regular everyday citizen, just like me. You don't have the right to tell me where I need to park my rear end at.
Right.
That's not your job. Like, that's not your job, and that's the problem. You know, you can't walk through a neighborhood. Well, what you doing out here in this neighborhood? It's none of your business what I'm doing out here in this neighborhood. Like, just stay to your own little space, and we'll be just fine.
Right.
And this is an example of that stuff. Oh, we gonna go over here 4, 5 deep, 6 deep, and we gonna punk this dude and tell him where he need to go.
Make him leave.
And that's the type of stuff that just like people got to get that out their head, and they got to do what you said, like keep your hands to yourself. Right.
And that's exactly what I was about to get to. We live in a society where they be fucking with us. And then they mess around and play victim after they done threw the rock and they had their head. Every situation, with an exception of George Floyd, George Zimmerman shouldn't have been following that young man.
911 call told him to leave him alone.
No, that's because historically we've been a passive people. We don't always turn up. So when we do turn up, it's a oh my God situation. I can't believe you would do this to me. You got to know your place. When in reality, I might be one of the people to turn up, or I might have had a bad day today. I might feel just like you do right now in this moment. When you felt like turning up on me, I might feel like turning up on you. I might not want to turn the other cheek today. And it's almost like we've always been looked at like you have to turn the other cheek. You know what I mean?
Right. But what I was about to say is this. Police don't even have the training to do what they expect of us.
Right.
And we are sitting over here and looking at the situation from a completely skewed lens. Like, I don't care what nobody says. I want my kid to be able to make it home by any means necessary. And I don't care what nobody says. That young man had a right to defend himself. If we was on an elevator and all of them people got on the elevator after I did, elevators got weight requirements, don't they?
Right.
That's definitely way too much going on in there. And you expect for me to just sit there and allow them to beat my ass? And I don't care what nobody says. Like, nobody is saying this. And I'm gonna be the one to say it. That young man deserved it. And his dad was looking like a bully too when he was sitting there talking crazy about black folk. And that's who he got it from. And they need to go ahead and get that together. Like, nah, y'all not gonna keep bullying us, man. Fuck around and find out happened. And that's what it is.
That's exactly what happened. You know, and that's the truth of the matter is everybody ain't to be tested. Sometimes people are made of what you think is bullshit. You might call cap on somebody. You might say, "Hey, you ain't made of that." He told us several people, "Try me and you're gonna see what's in this bag." Everybody around him said we didn't believe him. None of them kids believed him. They didn't believe he had nothing in that bag. They didn't believe he was doing nothing but calling wolf tickets. And it's like,
I'm gonna say this too, Drake. I want to just say, I'm sorry, I didn't even cut you off. But what amendment was that about firearms? Second
First.
amendment?
No,
second, right?
it's the second.
It's
The Second Amendment.
Second Amendment, all right? That all these jokers go crazy about. What do you think that Second Amendment really is saying?
All I'm saying is this term. Let me say it.
Can you say the actual word?
No,
hold on, time out. I want you to say what you just said a few minutes ago about finding out.
Oh yeah,
because that's
around and find out.
Well, that's what the Second Amendment is about.
Yeah.
Because all these people that mean, what do you mean that this kid deserved? I ain't saying he deserved to die, but you don't deserve to put your hands on people and without consequence. That's different. Just like you went and got your little pistol, and you say, I got the right carry my gun, and if you jump out here, you're going to mess around and find out. That's your right. I think that is our right as a human being. Like, you don't have the right to harm me in no shape, form, or fashion without a consequence, without me being able to defend myself. And you can't jump in my brain and tell me what I'm thinking, whether I'm scared, worried, or what. You can't tell me that. You don't know what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. So the best bet is to don't touch nobody.
Man, I always say it, man. This one of them things where you can't tell nobody how war. I almost say that like, like man. I read one quote. I read it was 130 pounds, like 5'7", 5'8", 130 pounds.
They probably put an extra couple pounds on.
So, but his defense attorney was saying basically there was an 80-pound difference. So if somebody's...
That's part of the appeal, too.
Standing up on you, if somebody walk up on you 80 pounds heavier than you, an athlete...
It's only one person.
And they hit him with an offensive lineman move. That's what they described it as a two-handed push that was described as an offensive lineman move. Like, so you just gonna just dog walk me out here in front of all these people. Like, I'm not allowed to sit here in the stands with the rest of these people. I ain't allowed to be up under this tent when it's raining. You gonna tell me to move and get out the rain. I might have an event in 2 minutes. I'm gonna be getting out of here soon because I gotta run. I gotta throw the discus or long jump, or I got an event coming up. So be getting out of here soon. Y'all ain't got to worry about it. But at the same time, I'm here probably for something. I bet he was talking to females and they didn't like it. He's probably talking to, some of the people who, was on their team and they probably looking at him like a traitor. But that's how that's how it go when you add these track meets, invitationals, all this type of stuff. I might be running against you for the last 3 years, the last 4 or 5 years. By the time I see you now, we can talk about our event that we about to have or whatever in politics as cool enemies. Like, I know we ain't on the same team, but what was your time like last week? How did you run in this invitational or whatever? You can have those conversations without the other team knowing what's going on. Like, so you don't know what he's under that tent for. I mean, all you know is he's on the other team. You need to get him out, and you put your hands on it.
Right.
I don't think that's right by any definition. So, like a father should probably look at it like, my son was wrong for that. However, he was wrong for having the knife. That might be a fair assessment of it if you are the parent. But I look at it like, you probably should look at it like, my son should not be touching people. He should not have been the one out of 100 people at the track meet to grab this little boy.
So I'll say this to the knife thing. Okay, say Karmelo don't have the knife.
Mm-hmm.
And then those 4, 5, 6 boys, even if the 2 twins jumped on him,
Mm-hmm.
the chances of him being seriously hurt is still there.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so just because he had the knife, the only logical thing is go for those Metcalf kids and the rest of them is to not touch it.
Right.
Right? Like, that's the only way that would have ended without anybody getting hurt. But if the fight ensued and you got 2, 3, 4, 5 people on one person, that person could be significantly injured, like seriously injured.
Right.
Or killed. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people can say what they want about he shouldn't have that knife. But listen, if he didn't, the bottom line is don't touch nobody. That's the bottom line. It ain't okay if you legal to have a gun. Just because you got a gun doesn't mean that gun gonna go the hell off.
Right.
If you touch me or whatever, or you pull out another gun or something like that, and I feel threatened or I feel endangered, then I have to use it. Right?
That's
like,
true.
it ain't the gun.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't bring that smoke, then hey, you ain't gonna have to deal with that lid.
Right.
So, like, I don't know, man. People can feel the way they want to feel about a knife, but man, that kid wasn't gonna put that knife. Look, we're gonna go back to even his character, which people don't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
A student saved a life.
Right.
He saved a little 6-year-old from drowning.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really talk about that stuff. And then they don't really talk too much about the bullying on the other side.
Right.
Right? Like, they want to try to leave that alone. But those are factors, because then that character shows that he could just have that knife with him for other purposes. Mm-hmm. Not to stick somebody with it.
And even like going along with what you're saying, once everything happened, he was over there like, oh my God, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it? It was like, yeah, he was.
And he said this after that. He told the police, he said, I told them, don't put their hands on him.
Yeah.
He said, I told him don't put his hands on him. I'm like, what point do we say, okay, he gave dude a fair heads up, bro. I'm going to defend myself if you touch me.
And he admitted to it. They said, man, we got to figure out what happened. He said, I mean, I
did it.
I did it.
I told you.
You know what I mean? Like,
so that's what I said. Like, even if they would have landed on a manslaughter charge, murder, that's kind of that's over the top in my opinion. But manslaughter, like in the heat of the moment, like boom. I mean, I could understand it a little more. Like, I'd be like, all right, okay, that we can live with a few years. Okay, boom. I don't think this is a bad kid. I don't think this kid is sitting around plot planning and strategizing to go out here to harm somebody. You know what I'm saying? Just from what I've read and what things that I've collected from this case, it doesn't seem like that type of kid. But again, like, we don't talk about the the character of Carmelo Anthony or the character of Austin Metcalf enough because those are factors. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. So another thing that I wanted to go into was how do you feel about just how the judge handled the case? Judge Jonathan Roach, which is kind of a funny name, but he resigned after this all took place, or retired, or not resigned, I'm sorry, retired. Could there be some smoke right there where maybe he think this didn't really go the way that, maybe there's some things that they didn't do right in this case, and maybe he trying to get the hell out the way before everything blow up in his face?
I think so. I do think we about to find out in this next trial everything that went wrong on the first one. But
so you're saying the appeal's going through?
I think the appeal's gonna happen because he has a right, or it looks like he has a means for
some ground, yes. Some legal issue there, right?
So I do think he'll get it. I don't know if they're gonna retry him with the same murder, or if they're gonna hit him with the manslaughter, if they're gonna try it a different way.
Well, I think the manslaughter was in the jacket, but I think it was dismissed or whatever. I don't know the proper term, but I don't think it was. They threw it to the side because I think the manslaughter was. I can't remember what was the actual technical reason. People probably look it up.
There was a lot of reasons why it wasn't able to be a manslaughter and it was a murder. It was a lot of lingo, the things that they were saying.
Yeah, they didn't even take into account the sign difference, and stuff like that. But
it was a definition of law versus a definition thing where it was like the law says something totally different with these words that you're saying. So we got to redact these words or re-say these things. If they say a certain lingo, we got to recant what you say something else because that's not what happened here, or whatever the case may be. And then once that happened, they was able to say this ain't manslaughter.
I think all that's going to be taken into account, but they got about 4 or 5 different things that they're going to go and bring to the forefront of. They're going to package up into the appeal, but usually when you are filing an appeal, they want to look at factual things that could be legal issues, like not having a black jury there. You know what I mean? Like people can say what they want to. All this. Listen, let's flip the script around, right? Let's just put the reverse. Kids, the Metcalf kids were black, and the Anthony kid was white, right? Now, so now you put a white kid that killed the black kids that was with a crew of kids, right? With known bullies or whatever, and you go ahead and put 12 black jurors on there.
Right.
Hold on. 12 black and people of color. We want to make sure.
I wouldn't put 12 black people on that jury.
3 people of color, if you want to do that.
No.
So let's do 8.
No, I'm saying all the jurors, black, and it's a white defendant. Then I want you to put a black judge, black prosecutor, and then give him a black attorney. Let's see. And then he gets convicted. Let's see. I know this is, some people go money. That never happened, but I'm just saying that lets you know right there how the outrage would be ridiculous.
Oh, for sure.
It'd be ridiculous right now. That's what we say. We just saying, give us 1 or 2 on there just so that people can understand the difference in culture. And you know what I mean? And
that is a real thing, though. And it'll be an uproar.
Man, we already know it.
They'll be burning stuff down in this
the whole country be on fire about that stuff. That's the stuff we know. And some people, when they sit by themselves, they know it too. They just don't want to really, they ain't gonna be outgoing about it and say, yeah, that's exactly what. But people know deep down inside, like they would feel some type of way about that.
Mm-hmm. And then, they treat us like the minority sometimes, and some people don't speak up about it when we get wronged. But we ain't always going to be the minority. I want people to understand that, you know what I mean? And it's not going to be very long before we're not the minority anymore. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things where you got to be careful how you treat people, you know, because it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, and sometimes people are nasty by nature. So sometimes you hope people will be kind to you when they do have the gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We probably won't be living to see it, but eventually this country will be majority black. This world will probably be majority black within 200 years if it's still around.
We ain't gonna be
We ain't gonna be here. I'm saying if it's still around, if the world is still here, going like it is, it's gonna be a whole lot of black and mulatto kids around, a whole lot of black and mulatto people.
It's at the bottom line is like us as black people just want a fair shake. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, if I did wrong, if Joker did wrong, he just did wrong. But we want it to be handled and dealt with in the correct manner where it's fair. You know what I'm saying? Not there ain't no bias in this stuff. Like, they ain't trying to do all these tricks to try to get somebody something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane that the stuff that goes on, and and we still gotta pick ourselves up, by our bootstraps and all this other stuff, and just keep working. You could, man.
No, it's all. I think it's so weird how we always just want to be created equal, treated fair, and we look at like we getting over, trying to get over on people or get over on a situation somehow, like we trying to get ahead when all we want is really to be looked at as an equal, treated as fair, and then we'll get the rest on our own. Just give me the same opportunity and see what I do with it. You know what I mean? If that's not the case, then just let me do what I'm gonna do. Don't give me railroad blocks, stoppages and all this type of stuff, hindrances on every single path I take. Just let me go and see what I'm gonna do, because my mind works. It's gonna happen for me with or without you, but don't stand in the way. You know what I mean? Like, so I look at it.
Yeah, man. What you thinking, L?
Hopefully this appeal goes through, and hopefully they reverse some stuff, and once everything is said and done, it'll be enough for it to go to the Supreme Court so that we can get some changes, because that's ultimately what we need. We need those changes on a federal level so that things can be changed, like, for the country.
Are you referring to like the court proceedings, like the justice system, things of that nature?
Yes, definitely the justice system. Like, we know that it doesn't do well for us. Like, we were talking about it in the shop earlier. You go downtown because you have a simple ticket. You might not even done what they said you did, but they won't even allow you to really defend yourself. You can take this plea and get on about our face and pay this fee.
That's why the lingo is different. The verbiage they talk is different. If you don't know how to speak to the judge, you're not going to be respected like a figure who can. And that's like kind of messed up, because we were never taught that language. You know what I mean? We don't know how to speak to a judge the right way, but we're the ones always in front of the judges. Like, objections and all of the things that we're supposed to know, we don't know. Yeah, depend on a lawyer that we don't have money for most of the time. We get a attorney or a defense lawyer or whatever case that ain't really, going to represent us correctly, and it's the system that we're in. The whole system is corrupt and it don't work for us.
I do want to say this too, man. Shout out to the defense team, the new defense team. The whole defense team of black people that are not taking the payment or doing this on their own time.
Pro bono.
Yeah, with their own money. And the reason why I shout them out is because we have seen too many times black people be put on the island and be like, hey, you fend for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have a culture where we come to each other's rescue. Even sometimes when you know they've been wrong. And we'll sit back because maybe the media isn't giving a kind narrative about that black person, right? Like, hey, they just making it just as nasty as they wanna be. And then you'll see, you know, black people that could help not be there, right? Like for whatever reason. But now you see more and more people stepping up. You know, this is a big situation. This is national, if not world news, right? They hearing this all over the place. But what I'm saying is like, it's good to see black professionals, like those attorneys, legit attorneys, come together and say, we're gonna help this young man out, right? And I wish we could get more of that because that's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take a lot of black people to come together and not just like, oh, we're gonna just help every coyote out here that do something wrong. No, but when you see an injustice happen, when you see somebody being treated unfairly, that we need to come together and say, man, we ain't having that. Not, oh, we're gonna go tear up the city and do all this other stuff. Nah. I'm talking about come together with resources, you know, with people that have experience in dealing with the law and stuff like that, attorneys and accountants and whatever else may be needed at the time, right? Come together and then help each other out or this cycle continues where black people get railroaded, get treated less than, you know, get unfair treatment and that, you know, and again, we ain't saying, yo, we want the advantage. We just saying we want to be on the same playing field as everybody else. We want to just be, look, if you start from this number, we want to start from that same number. Keep it fair. You know what I'm saying? And so I salute them for coming to that young man's to standing beside him with his family and, you know, working to try to get this case overturned. I like, period. You know, I just hope that, you know, the truth come out. You know, if he truly defended himself, which I believe, I don't care what y'all got to say. That's what I believe. You know, and hopefully that you know, everything kind of gets turned over and this man is let free. That's where I'm at with it. What y'all got? What you think?
I want to echo the same sentiment that you guys have. Ultimately, we just want to be treated equally. If this was Monopoly, we should all be able to read the same rules and apply the same rules. You know, sometimes Dre should be able to be Baker. John should be able to be Baker. I should be able to be Baker. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Like,
we could all agree that nobody should start on Boardwalk. You know what I mean? That's what we should not have. You know what I mean? We shouldn't have a whole bunch of people about to collect go as they start the game. Collect 200 from go as they start the game. Right? You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right. And so I'm gonna say that hopefully they do something happens and we can get some things changed. I think that it is amazing that, like you said, the lawyers are doing this pro bono, and it's really big, like in a lot of ways.
I'm sorry, I had to pause you on that.
Colossal. I'm a double down. This is what we need, and the reason that I say that is because we come from so much. Whenever we get together as a people, it always seems to get knocked down. Like, we haven't got reparations from slavery. Every time that we've gone out and decided to build on our own, they knocked it down. Whenever we come together and decide that we're going to help each other out, it becomes a terrorist group. And we really need to see this through. We need to really uplift this group of people and support them, because this don't happen for us. And it's really amazing. And I'm happy that I can actually say that I was alive to witness this happen, under the circumstances, which are very unfortunate. But we're seeing something that could be as monumental as the civil rights movement happening in real time. And you can't rewrite that kind of history. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Keep your hands to yourselves, man. Tell y'all kids they not Superman, that they can't get touched. You know what I mean? Everybody. That ain't just for the biggest kid in the world. That ain't for the smallest kid, the strongest kid, whatever. Your kid can be Baki. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? If he put his hands on somebody, he can get hit with one. And he can go to sleep. And you gotta teach him that. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody should probably understand what safe means and understand that we all have the right to go wherever we want to go throughout the day and come home safely. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think nobody has the right to play God.
Yeah.
No doubt. And I'll say this before we get up out of here. Like, before people jump in the comments and get all butthurt about our conversation and say, well, what about black on black and all this other stuff? Black on black crime and all that stuff. Why ain't the outrage there? So I'll just say this. Black on black, when it's us versus us, I guess, to say, we know at the end of the day that black people are going to be prosecuted to the law's fullest extent, right? But when it's white on black, doesn't really happen that way. We don't seem to get the same justice. So that's why you get the outrage. Just FYI. But until next time, this is just the Barbershop. L Dog, Sean Got
Yeah.
and Dre Rat.
Razor Rat in the room.
We out of here. Peace.
Sir.